As we already mentioned, a scenario management is a tool that is available in Excel, which works on different scenarios provided to it. It uses a group of ranges which impact on a certain output and can be used for making different scenarios such as well, bad, and medium depending on the values present in the range which impact the result. But what about the application of this tool? Today, private and public organizations such as Apple, a company that produces cell phones, or his competition, we're talking about Samsung, another company that produces cell phones. Or what about the factories such as Honeywell, a company that manufactures trucks? Or what about Skyworks, a company that manufactures semiconductors and mobile communication systems? There are a lot of companies that we can use as an example. But the question is, of all the companies I mentioned, what do they have in common? All of them face three challenges. The increasing uncertainty. We refer to uncertainty as a situation in which something is not known. Then we have the increasing complexity. We refer to complexity as the state of having many parts and being difficult to understand or to find an answer. And finally, the increasing competition. But they have to consider three approaches in order to master this. So the first approach is coping with uncertainty. Today changes are standard. Rigid prognosis fail. Therefore, companies have to accept that the future is no longer predictable. Moreover, they should anticipate alternative future paths and integrate these multiple futures into their strategic planning. This approach is called future open thinking. The second approach is handling complexity. Many markets and industries are converging. The amount of relevant influence factors is increasing, and it's difficult to understand their interactions. Thus, companies must learn to understand these interactions and the behavior of such systems so effective strategies can be developed. This approach is called system thinking. The third and final approach is using future chances. In a situation of increasing competition, it is important to be one step ahead. Therefore, companies should not only concentrate on short-term success. They have to identify future possibilities and risk early enough in order to integrate them in their decision process. This is the core strategic thinking. In case multiple alternative future developments are revealed which are based on linking thinking, we refer to them as scenarios. We refer to a scenario as a possible situation that may occur within a company. A scenario development in the context of strategic decision-making processes is one of the main subjects of scenario management. The usage of scenarios focuses on three different application areas. So, in the first one, we're talking about the context of strategic development. Scenarios are implemented in order to think ahead of market and external conditions as well as to reveal own options for actions. This process then leads to robust visions and strategies as well as to a closer observation for critical indicators in the context of strategic early detection. But what does the success of a company depend on? Right now, we're talking about a scenario development, an application area of the scenario management. Driving a company toward transformation is a crucial goal that may seem simple, but the reality is that not all companies can have what it takes to accomplish the success of a company. There are companies like Amazon, Google, Apple, Samsung that can be considered as successful companies. And the reason why is because they are constantly analyzing how to evolve not only their products, but also the internal and external capabilities. In counterpart, many other organizations have suffered due to their lack of strategy development. There are a lot of examples, but right now I'm going to mention a couple. Kodak, dedicated to the design, production, and marketing of photographic equipment. Kodak could not overcome the digital transformation of industry. Another example is BlackBerry, who went from success to the underground in just a few years. The reason why many companies fail to plan their movement is easy to say. They are afraid of the future. The second application area. The success of the enterprise stands and falls with the implementation of the evaluated strategic direction of impact, such as change and transformation process is being created and supervised within the framework of future driving change. I'll mention why a strategy impact is so important for a company. A project manager usually identifies the probability of a risk to occur and its effect on the project. But a few more risk characteristics are also available to be considered. One of these characteristics is a strategic impact. As the name indicates, a strategic impact refers to the level to which a potential project-related risk affects one or more strategic goals or objectives of the organization. When a risk affects the strategic objective of the organization, its probability of occurrence must be reduced so that the position of the organization in the market is not affected. The more effects of risks on strategic goals led to a high strategic impact. The third and last application area. Another area of application for scenarios is the strategic innovation management. The future images specify how new markets, products, and services, new technologies, or new business models might look like, and how they can be linked to the strategic direction of impact. Today, in order for a business to succeed, it needs to stay competitive. So a company needs a strategic innovation to understand the marketplace and produce new products to meet the needs of the customers. As technology advances at a rapid pace, a business needs to be able to use that technology with innovative concepts. Business can fail if they can grow in this ever-changing world. Additionally, the business needs to look for new streams of revenues that can keep the company going. Innovation is one way to make a lasting statement in the business world and keep a company going. And lastly, scenarios are an important tool, but they are far from being the only tool which helps companies to prepare for the future. In order to be able to apply scenarios purposefully, they have to be seen in the overall context of the toolbox.